Welcome to Ojai. Ojai is a charming town outside of Santa Barbara, and we have taken over this beautiful home for our spring McGee Co photo shoot. This home also happens to belong to the sister of one of our team members. It's a family affair. The concept for the collection was modern charm. You'll see that each piece is expressive and has personality and unique details, but when it comes together, it feels familiar and eclectic, collected, and it just works together, which is everything I hope for when I'm designing homes for clients. And that is that each piece feels like a reflection of the homeowner, but when it comes together, it just feels like home. You have this opportunity at the beginning of every project to set the mood for the design. In this home, we had early 1900s architecture and historical details, wood, walls, and ceiling. And that really gave us a decision to make. Did we lean fully into that look, or did we create some tension and some juxtaposition? We created that tension and juxtaposition in 3 ways throughout this room. One, through the color palette. So we had these warm wood walls and we did lighter materials layered on top of those wood walls on the bench and on the sofa and even on the rug. We also did luxe materials mixed with natural ones. So you have velvet with jute. You have burl with seagrass, and I love those combinations because they are interesting. We also mixed shapes. So we have a lot of curves, but then so that we don't over curve the design, we mixed in straight lines as well. Next to every piece with a curve, there is a straight line. Even the stripes help give us that straight line, or the spindles on the back of this chair. We have several new pieces of furniture that I'm so excited about. Let's start with the Wexler. The coolest feature is the piping. We have a mohair velvet that goes across the entire back and then around the arm, and then you can choose the color of the main fabric. So this is the color of the piping always, and then you can choose the main color on your sofa. So this is a Krypton, and we did a contrast to really highlight the piping, but you could also go for a more tonal look as well. One other thing I wanted to point out that is so cool, this sofa kind of has this subtle bow in the middle, and I think that it's just those little details that give it this very luxe look. I think the size is really versatile as well. This works as a main sofa, but it's manageable enough to go in smaller spaces like this one, but I could also pair it with another large sofa in a larger living room. We have a diamond jute rug at McGee Co that is one of our very top sellers, and we have done it in a new pattern inspired by parquet floors. It has this really great dimensional quality to it. You can see that when the light hits it, you get kind of different angles of the pattern, and the best part about it is that this is the softest jute I have ever felt. It has kind of almost like a silky hand feel to it, and it doesn't feel rough and scratchy, but you get that natural look, which I think gives us a nice relaxed vibe against materials like velvet over here on our Clegg chair. So this new chair is so cool. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. It has this tufted pillow with the little button tuft here on the back, which makes it really comfortable. And then we have this very interesting arm. And then the legs, we mixed velvet and iron together, and we've done this little ball foot on the iron leg. I think this is the chair if you are wanting something that feels really interesting and more sculptural than your average chair. It looks good in pairs, but it would also look good kind of just like tilted at an angle in any room. Let's talk about the layout that we did in this living room look. You know, a sofa and 2 chairs and a coffee table isn't groundbreaking, but what we've done around that I think is interesting, and there are a lot of tips that could be applied to your home. Rather than doing 2 chairs and then 2 chairs, we opted to do a pair with another chair kind of at an angle. I think that this creates a conversational look, and then it makes everything a little less like gridded out in your living room. I also love this new Scaletta bench. It's one of the most versatile pieces that we have designed. I have this in my home across the bottom of the stairs. You could put it at the foot of a bed, an entryway where it fills your space, in front of windows where you're not wanting to block the view. And then you get a subtle stripe so that we add a nice pattern that still pairs well with other textiles throughout the room. One other thing we did in here is style a console between the wall and the sofa. This is a tip if you have an extra 12 to 18 inches to spare in your living room and the setup is a sofa against the wall, try to pull the sofa forward and incorporate a console, because if you can imagine this living room look without the console, it would fall kind of flat. By adding this console, we were able to create additional surface for styling, which definitely makes it more interesting. And we were able to incorporate ambient light. This little lamp here, which is our Betancourt lamp, is so great. It has this twisted plaster texture. This helps your room feel more designer than pushing your furniture up against the walls. The artwork that is the focal point of this living room look is definitely inspired by the landscape here in Ojai. In every home that I design, I always try to find a piece or two that reflects the landscape around us so that we can bring the outdoors in. And then surrounding this look, we have a few faux plants that I'm really excited about. These topiaries are so great. They work in this living room, but I plan to put them on a kitchen counter or in my mudroom. I love the height and the warmth of the terracotta pots. They kind of have a more rustic quality to them. And then over here behind me is one of our very favorite trees. It is a faux Japanese quince tree, and you see that it has great height, has these delicate little leaves here, and the shape is so spot on. A faux tree has to meet a lot of requirements in my book, and this meets all of them, including the pot below. Don't let people shame you for using faux plants in your home. It's low-hanging fruit for designers to be like, I only use real. But guess what? In a basement, it's not gonna stay alive. In a vacation home for our clients, it's not gonna stay alive. That is why we are developing beautiful faux options. When styling this coffee table, we kept it really simple inside of this tray because we've got 2 big statement pieces happening next to it. Inside, we did a grouping of 3. And so you hear me talk about odd groupings, and I think that that's something to pay attention to when you're styling. And then over here, I love these hurricanes so much. I have them in my own home. One thing that I love about them is that they're really practical. Tapers are a big look in design right now, and they catch all of that wax so you don't ruin your table. These hurricanes do a lot for this styling look. They add height, they are substantial in size, and they add a lot of ambiance. I think that they feel romantic, and I love that you're playing with silver, which is a huge trend in fashion right now, and you're doing it in a subtle way, so you can mix it with gold and brass really easily. They are sitting on a really beautiful burl wood coffee table. And one reason I love this in here is because you get a classic material like burl, but then you're getting a trend forward shape with the scallops, which is huge in design right now. And I like that you're getting it just kind of on the underside of this table. When developing this pillow scheme, We wanted to make sure that we incorporated a very trending color right now, which is brown. But how do you make brown work for spring? It is a very obvious choice in fall and winter, but we did it in a more medium kind of cocoa brown in this look, and also layered it with more light and airy textiles like the florals and the checks in front of it. I love a solid pillow at the back of a combination because it kind of just allows you to build with pattern in front. This one has this great gusset detail in a tonal fabric, and you can see just like how luxurious and soft this linen fabric is, which I love. We have 2 florals in this look, and they work because one floral is in a stripe pattern with more white space, and then this one is more of an all over look. And then over here, we've incorporated this green kind of checkered border pillow. I like that you're not getting an all over dose of the trend. It's just done in a really subtle way. When you're creating a textile scheme, look for one finish or element outside of the pillow palette to tie it into. And we took this color palette and brought it into the dining room. When designing this dining room look, we had a darker stain on the walls than we did in the living room. And we even had stone on a fireplace. So we have a moodier, heavier look as the backdrop. And we wanted to create some continuity between the living room and dining room, but also give it its own flair. And I think that the way we carried in some of the elements from the living room is through the materiality. You get the woven, but we're getting it on a light instead of a rug. You're getting the warmth of rich material like velvet and some brown tones, but on these dining chairs. We also are mixing that look of traditional and modern. This cabinet right here feels more traditional, it feels more rustic, and then we have more streamlined accents throughout. And again, we're incorporating my favorite color, this beautiful green tone in the stacked artwork here. The mat is a dark green, and these pieces are so beautiful. I love this vignette happening next to the window. I think that when you're designing a dining room, you have the opportunity to completely transform a look when you add a tablecloth or your dinnerware. So this could be the everyday look, but then you can completely transform it and flip it on its head when you incorporate pattern and color. This is our new Garance chair, and there's a lot to love about this chair. I think that the circle seat is so charming, but it's also very comfortable. I think that you're getting a nice sit, but it doesn't take up a lot of square footage around your dining table, which is always nice when you can fit more chairs around. The legs have this great little kind of like foot detail, and then we worked really hard to get like a padded back but still have an open and airy feeling. I think that sometimes when you're designing an upholstered dining chair, they get clunky really easily, and this still feels light, but you're getting that comfort of upholstery. I also love that you get a nice back because chairs are often pushed in, most always. You want to make sure that the visual of your chair is nice from all sides. And here you're getting this leg detail that comes all the way up to the back, and then you get a really pretty profile. We're also offering this in a neutral linen color fabric as well. Hutches are one of the most underutilized pieces of furniture, and they happen to be one of my favorites. I think the go-to is often put a sideboard in the dining room, and that is a great look. I love that look. But if you are limited on wall space, in a small or large home, you get so much impact visually when you do a hutch because you're getting height and scale. And then if it has glass, you have so much opportunity to style, and it's functional because I can put so much dinnerware inside of the cabinet to use as styling, but then pull out when you're entertaining. Add modern charm to your own home. You can shop all these pieces and more at McGee Co.